Okay, guys, so for Thursday, instead of a Black History fact, I'm going to do one of my own personal, so it's kind of a throwback. I know last time, I think I spoke about the first time I was stopped by the police, and I never want people to get the idea that Black history is solely about the struggles, but it's largely about the struggles. And it's a celebration of overcoming many of these struggles and many of the accomplishments that have been made by people before who allowed us to enjoy what we enjoy now. But we have to still continue to push harder by remembering, by learning from the past, to make sure that we don't make these same mistakes in the present to affect the future. We need to make sure that we're still pushing on, and that's everybody collectively. Um, so I was asked when I was playing football to participate in a kids camp, and it was really kind of an eye-opening experience. It was the first time that I had really kind of gotten to do some community work that way, and it was great because it involved two things that I'm passionate about: one, children as a parent, and two, sports as an athlete. So we would do two events on, I believe it was Thursday. In the morning, we would go to a school, set up, have the events that the kids could run through and jump on, and knock things over and all that. Then we would do it in the afternoon at the Arizona Cardinals facility. We were partnered with Gatorade at the time. And I had a fantastic time. Got to meet a lot of wonderful kids, some of their parents, signed a ton of autographs. But what that did is it opened my eyes and it allowed me to parlay that into doing that on my own as well. And I was very fortunate to be invited to schools and speak to children at schools. We also, and that was with my brother Will. We did a lot of that, and thanks to Julianne for having us into her classroom. If I'm just thinking off of the top, and then from there, I also started with the help of a lot of teammates. Attending other events, food drives that we would donate to St. Mary's Food Bank, clothing drives, toy drives during the holidays. We donated time at battered women's shelters and continued to donate as long as we could. So what it did is it gave a lot of people the opportunity to visibly see not only myself as a man of color, but other men of color as well, of all colors, giving back to the community. And it's important because a lot of times we don't get to see each other in that light. We see each other maybe driving by or walking by, but when you see people actually with a common goal to want to do better for the community and the people in the community, it should change the perception of most normal and level-headed people. You see, okay, this is fantastic, because so often many people are still under the assumption that black men in general are criminals, negligent fathers, you name it, or only athletes and entertainers. It's beyond that. And the best way to do that is to show that we care about the community as much as the next person, sometimes more. So the point to it all is the ability to knock down walls and build up bridges. And that's really how you get all people in all walks of life to be able to see each other in a common light, where if it's based off of ethnicity, background, if it's nationality, if it's religion, if it's gender, if it's sexual orientation, we can all start to see each other when we come together. If you go to, do a Habitat for Humanity, if you're building things together like homes, you can't help but start to feel like, wow, this is fantastic, and there's other people in other bubbles, because we're all kind of in our own bubble, who they want the same that I do, and it can only help but improve that. And I was very fortunate because I was working with people's children, and so I got to meet parents and I got to work with the kids. And there was times where I would see people's children later on who knew me or they knew of the camps. I got to do NFL character camps and kids camps as well. I've had a very blessed existence in that realm. So the building of bridges is not only from people to people now, but in the future as well. So I introduced this to my children and have had just immense pride watching, my children donate in anything from just clothing to time to free kitchen, all sorts of wonderful things. So you're knocking down walls, but you're also building things up. So we owe it to ourselves, because one day this will be Black history for me and for a lot of other people. So what we do is we learn from the past to do better in the present, so the future becomes a better history for the next group. I hope that makes sense, and I hope that everybody finds this in a good place, and that this is, I don't want to say like a feel-good story compared to some of the other things, because we need to know it all. We need to learn all of these things that have happened, not only to Blacks, but just in general, people across the board, so we don't subscribe to repeating atrocities. And we can start to know how to build up our society. Peace, love, unity, solidarity.